Hey, what's happening? How are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here. I am Chris, and this is the bonus edition episode of Podtastic Audio. On these very short little bonus episodes, I deliver value directly to you, cutting out all the fluff, all the sound effects, music. We're going to cut all that, put it to the side, and I'm going to deliver value directly to you. As content creators, whether you are on Instagram, YouTube, or even, yes, an audio podcast like I'm doing right now, you're trying to deliver some kind of value to your audience directly. Now, what that value really is really up to you and your audience. What is your show about, and how can you best deliver your message directly to your audience? As podcast listeners ourselves, there's a couple things that we really tune into when we hear them come up on a podcast. One of them is when somebody actually mentions our own name. People love hearing their name on a podcast that they actually listen to. Whether it's shouting out a handle on social media or their actual name themselves, people love hearing things that are directly related to them. You got to remember, the audience, as much as they love all the great movies that are out right now, as much as they love your content, they really love themselves even more than your show. So if you can somehow bring them directly into the show and be relatable directly to your listening audience, that is a win-win. You'll get listeners' ears to perk up and they're like, wow, what are they talking about? That sounds like me. I'm going to hit rewind. What did they just say? Did they just mention my name? That's incredible. But a big thing I hear about podcasting moving forward, at least in this year, 2024, are that more shows have to be more authentic directly to their listening audience. What does that really mean? It just means that you have to be real. You have to be genuine. You have to share personal stories that relate directly to your audience. If your audience is going through some struggles or something personal, it's okay. Maybe you are too. I know that if you go on social media for many years, social media, especially like Instagram, maybe even Facebook too, but I noticed like on Instagram specifically, is there's been a lot of like, hey, look at me, flashy dashy, I got a new car, check this out. Oh, here we are on vacation, check this out. Or here we are on a brand new house or a brand new this. Here's our wonderful family. Look at my amazing kids and how wonderful they are during Christmas. Our Christmas photos are amazing. Check this out. And and I know there's got to be 100, if not 1,000 other photos that are just the opposite of that we did not get a chance to see. It's not all sunshine and roses, and that is okay. You can be on your podcast talking about the real life struggles that you are physically going through. And there's going to be a listener listening to your show at that very moment. And they're going to be saying to themselves, man, this podcast really gets me. This show is directly for me because they are talking about the exact things that I'm going through right now, the same pains that I'm going through, the same struggles that I am going through. They are talking about, and they're not talking about it from a 30,000 view. They're talking about it like they are physically in the trenches. They are going through this, what I'm going through. They understand me. And because they understand me, I'm going to follow along with their journey. And I'm hoping that they get out of their troubles, and perhaps maybe they'll give me hope and inspiration to get out of my troubles. Sometimes the listening audience wants to hear something real and genuine, and they want to know that there is physically hope out there. Your show can be that beacon of light to help them get through whatever it is they're getting through. By being transparent on your podcast, it definitely will humanize your show and make it more relatable to the audience. Ultimately, this authentic approach cultivates a supportive community where listeners feel seen, they feel heard, and inspired to grow alongside your show. One thing that makes the audio podcasting so wonderful is that you can physically go deep on a topic or a niche or especially your own opinion and feelings. And don't be afraid to get on the microphone and share that out to the world and let them know that you really are struggling with something right now, whatever it is, whether it's mental health or it can be financial, or it could be a relationship or whatever it is. Don't be afraid to physically share these things on the microphone, and you'd be surprised. You might actually get a lot more feedback than you normally would on, say, a superficial type of show. Hey, thank you once again for listening. I really, truly do appreciate your time today. If you have any questions or comments or anything you want to get a hold of me, you always can reach me on my website, which is podtasticaudio.com. And until then, happy podcasting.